All right. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to Breaking Through Your Brick Walls. This is an interview series where you get to meet successful business owners. You receive a glimpse of life behind the scenes with them, and you're given gold nuggets and sage advice from fellow business owners. So, this is where we hang out to be authentic and share a piece of real life with you. Today, I'm talking with Tiana Clewis, and Tiana is the founder and the face behind Selah Financial Coaching. So obviously, Tiana is a coach, an author, and a public speaker who loves helping women entrepreneurs transform their lives by getting their money right at home and in their businesses. She's also the host of Dreamers Financial Playbook podcast, excellent podcast, by the way, where she shows women around the country how to use that tool called money to create a life that's worth living. She's a wife and mother to four small humans. And Tiana knows what it's like to feel the shame of having an out of control bank account. There seemed to be no way to have her dream business, hit her financial goals, and live that life that she genuinely enjoyed all at the same time. But today, she and her family have demolished tens of thousands of dollars in debt. She's walked away from her J.O.B. to build her dream business, and she's actively knocking out that bucket list of international adventures. Knowing how amazing it feels to be on the other side, Tiana wants to show you that you can have it all. She knows it because she's doing it. So don't watch her, join her. My name is Pamela Lewerenz, the Brick Wall Coach. I'm a business consultant that works with overwhelmed, stressed, and confused solopreneurs to create actionable plans for their success. And I work with them to stay focused on all the things there are to do with running a successful business. So I'm so excited to talk to Tiana today, and she's going to share all about her business and behind the scenes. So welcome, Tiana.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, good. I mean, how exciting is this? Now, where are you located? That I should start with.
I'm actually located in the Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas. I actually live in a kind of a small city called Midlothian, although it's growing very fast. But yeah, I'm a Texas girl, born, bred, raised.
Excellent. So why don't you just tell us, we'll start out with having you tell us a little bit about, yourself, the personal side, the face behind that business.
So yeah, the personal me, let's just say that's a really complicated individual. As you heard in my bio, I am a wife. My husband is awesome. His name is Boyd. We have 4 children together. The oldest 3 are from his first marriage, but they live with us full time. They're my kids. And then we also have 1 together. I am a minister. So I actually preached my first sermon a month ago today, actually.
Yay!
So that was exciting. And then I'm just, I'm out here just kind of trying to, be the best sister, daughter, wife that I can, and have fun along the way. So love traveling. I'm always reading something. I recently discovered an app that has like anime comic books, and I love reading that in my spare time when I'm bored. I'm such a geek. It's just...
Awesome. So how long have you been married?
We've been married for about 5 years. Yeah.
5 years. Excellent. Mm-hmm. And what are some of your favorite places you've traveled to? What's on your list of where you want to travel to?
So my husband and I have the goal of hitting every single continent, including Antarctica, even though I don't know if you know this, but most Black people don't do cold. But we're going to go to Antarctica anyway. We've hit all 7 continents. So actually, ironically, my husband, where's that dude right now? He's in Jamaica right now, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's in Jamaica right now. But my favorite trip that we've gone on was actually to Australia. So to celebrate our 30th birthdays 2 years ago now, we decided to go to Australia, and it was great because at the time he was working for American Airlines. And so we were able to get free tickets. We managed, like, by the grace of God, we do not to this day know how this happened. We got first class upgrades there and back.
Nice.
Yes, it's very nice on a 14-hour flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just had a fabulous time. There was just good eating, touring the opera house. I love the opera. And so we just had a great time hanging out with each other, being together without the kids, and just being our natural goofy selves.
Nice. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's on my list. It's a little further down on my list right now. I'm just trying to get to all the states in the United States.
We've thought about that. We're like, do we want to do all the states? We might go after all the states after we've hit all the continents. I think that might be, it probably is a little backwards, but that's how we're probably going to do it.
No, there's just, I'm looking at it like there's so much to see, like right here. And it's amazing when you start taking a road trip and just come across things you have no idea they even existed.
Yes, I'm a road trip girl. My husband, if it's more than like 4 or 5 hours away, he wants to fly. And I'm like, but dude, you're missing, like, we can go stop and there's like a random spot that you see and was like, you know what, let's just check this out and hang out here for an hour and just be random. And you can't do that when it comes to a flight.
No, you can't. You can't. But you do have to kind of be that person that is okay traveling in a car for long distances. I'm the kind of person that, we've been in here for 2 hours, time to get out and stretch legs. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that transition from employee life to business owner?
It was a very interesting transition, to be honest. So one of the things that made it actually tough for me, just from an emotional standpoint, is that to transition from a employee to a business owner meant that I went from that quote unquote safe paycheck to it's on me. And if this fails, then I have to fall back and depend on my husband. And the way that my family functions is the women in my family are trained and raised that you do not depend on a man for anything. And so to make that shift, and a big reason why I went ahead and did the scary thing and made that leap is honestly, it was a lot of prayer. And I just felt God pushing and nudging. And I can't say nudging. It was just flat out push that said, you need to leave this job and you need to go do what I told you to do. The name of my business, Selah Financial Coaching, Selah is actually out of the Bible. It's from Psalms. And ironically, I was very clear, Lord, I do not want a biblical name. And he said, I don't care. And so for me, it was extremely scary, but I made the decision that I was going to just trust in God and go ahead and do it. And it has been the biggest blessing to me and to my family, because the flexibility that I have with running my own business allows me to be available for my church, because I do work part-time for my church. Again, I'm a minister here. I'm actually one of the executive pastors. And so that's a lot of stuff that comes with it. There's times when I need to counsel others. There's times when something happens with my kid. I remember there was a 2-week period when it was like every time we turned around, something new happened with one of the kids. And if my husband wasn't available, then who's going to go help them? I used to travel in my old job. So if I'm traveling and he's traveling, who's going to take care of the kids when my son hits his head in basketball and gets a minor concussion? Or, my other son, this dude had to get a staple in his head at 4 years old because he hit his head on the banister in the stairs. And so it was a scary transition, but it gave me 2 things. One, it gave me the flexibility to be available for the things that were important to me, which is my family and my church. It also gave me that push I needed to basically stop BSing around in my business.
Yeah, it was time for you to shine.
When it's all you got, then you're going to work it a totally different way when it's just like, oh, well, if this fails, I still have my paycheck. And so it pushes you in a totally different way. So it was scary, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. It's so hard to just stop the paycheck and then hope that the business is just going to be a go of it. But, when you're told to do something, you follow it.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, like, even if for people who are not necessarily Christians, who don't necessarily believe in God, you have this inner intuition that tells you when it's time to make a shift, a change, a pivot in your life. And what a lot of us do is we talk ourselves out of it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. We talk ourselves, we come up with so many excuses of why
Yes.
it's not the right time, why we can't do this.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, because we did the numbers, we ran the math, and it was like, ooh, this is going to be tight. But it was okay. And it was one of those things where, so like when I launched my business, I created and launched my business in 2 weeks because I knew if I didn't do it fast, I would talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
When I created my first boot camp last year, I had the vision for it one weekend. And then within 48 hours, I had mapped it out and booked the venue because I knew I would talk myself out of it.
I love that. I love that.
And so it's like, it's a great idea. It's a fabulous idea. You can pull it off, but you give yourself too much time to think about it, marinate on it, talk yourself out of it. And so sometimes you have to be willing to just move fast, because I know that this is a good idea for my business. I know that it's really what I need to do. So let me just do it and stop giving myself all these endless opportunities to talk myself out of what I know I need to do.
Yeah. Not overthinking it.
Yes.
Taking action, knowing there might not be perfection, but that's okay. It can get more perfection down the road. But I mean, taking that initial action, that I think is the scariest part, no matter what piece of the business it is in. Whether you're starting out in business, you're already in business and thinking about shifting somewhere, it's scary. And you will talk yourself out of it if you sit there long enough.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law, I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs. So I admit I'm very, very blessed to be surrounded by entrepreneurs, from my husband to my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, even my pastor. And so my brother-in-law told me one day, he said, Tiana, imperfect action is better than no action at all. Because I'm very much so
true. That is so true.
I'm very OCD. So I want it to be perfect. I want it to be exactly right before I do it. And the only reason I've seen any growth in this business is because I was like, you know what? It's not perfect, but we're going to try this anyway.
Right. Exactly. And like I said, you can tweak it down the line, but hey, you took the action and that's what counts. That's great.
Yes.
That's great. So now why don't you explain to our listeners about the importance of taking control of your finances?
Man, oh my gosh. Okay. So
I know. We only have like 5 minutes for it, but you can hit the highlights.
Well, the thing that a lot of us have to realize, I know a lot of people make money scary. Like, I have a 4-year degree in accounting. So that means I spend a lot of time studying money, organizing it, all that stuff. But the thing that people don't realize is, I'm going to say it the way I tell my husband, you cannot out-earn stupidity. And so this is with your business and it's with your personal finances. And I've seen it many times. If your personal finances are in disarray, your business finances probably are too. And what it comes down to is, what happens is that we don't know what we're spending and we're overspending on things. We're just throwing money at a bunch of different places and not doing it very strategically. But we're getting all these clients in and we're getting in all these new customers and we're making tons of money. But then when it comes down to it, I'm having way too many ladies come back to me and say, Tiana, I'm just breaking even. And I'm like, but I've just seen like down my Facebook that you've had 10 different clients in the last week. Why are you just breaking even? And then when we sit down and we look at their finances, they didn't realize that they were spending tons of money on, okay, there's these products I'm not using. There's these materials I bought that I didn't need. There's this, there's that, there's that. And so when it comes down to getting control of your finances, the first thing is just knowing what in the world is going on. So you need to know where all of your income is coming from. And you need to know where all of your money is going. And that's the gap that's messing most entrepreneurs up, is that we don't know where the money is going. We just kind of let it flow out, but we're not intentional about the flow. We're not budgeting the flow. A budget is your best friend.
Thank you. I say that all the time to people. I don't understand how you can't function without a budget. First, you need the projection, but then you need that budget because you may, like you said, let's say you're making $10,000 right off the bat. That's your gross. So you've got to take off things like taxes, the self-employment things, all that. And then you have to take off the expenses, but only the expenses you need. And when you start weeding through those, like you said, there's so many times you wonder, I'm paying for that program and it's how much money and I'm not even using it. Yeah, that's huge.
And that's the reason why I tell people two main things. The first thing is get yourself an accounting software. It does not have to be complicated. I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's literally $10 a month.
Yep.
I have it linked to the bank accounts for my business, and I even have rules set inside of it. So I have a lot of recurring expenses. So it will automatically put them in categories for me. And then once a week, which is my second thing, once a week, I go through all of my expenses and all of my income. And I just look at where is my money going and where is my money coming from? Because if I know where my money is coming from, then I can really see which products is selling the best, which services are selling the best. And those are the ones that I'll push. And I might even get rid of the ones that aren't selling at all. You can make that sort of strategic decision if you know what's selling, what's working.
Yeah.
But then on the expense side, then you can start asking those questions of, do I really need this piece of technology? You might have bought this $100 piece of program that has like 15 things inside of it, but you're only using one part of the app. Well, maybe you can find another app that has just that one piece that's 1/5 of the cost. And that can save you a ton of money off the bat, because the more money you spend, the less money you get to bring home in profit. And the whole point of your business is to generate profit to take care of you and your family.
Exactly. Hello. Running a business means that you're supposed to be making a profit. I mean, that's the whole thing. Otherwise, we'd call them hobbies.
An expensive hobby at that.
Yes, and an expensive hobby. Exactly. I think it's really important. I mean, you had so many gold nuggets in there, because knowing where your income's coming from, that's a really important piece. And a lot of people, I don't even think, realize that. They may have a passion or a love for something, but the money isn't even flowing from there. It's some piece of their business that they're doing. And the same with expenses. I mean, there's so many free apps or programs out there, or very low cost ones. Yeah, they might not have all the bells and whistles of the big things, but you can add those bigger things on later as you grow. You don't need the huge things to start off with.
I love that you said that, because I literally just like an hour and a half ago recorded my podcast episode that's going to drop tomorrow. And it's literally about free tools to grow your business.
Yeah, see? I mean, it's amazing when you start digging, you're like, wait a minute, I'm paying $500 a year subscription to this thing over here that's either $10 a month or sometimes even free.
Yes.
Free. I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. And you have to be aware of it. Like, you have to keep your eye on it. And also, if you don't do it weekly or monthly, sometimes it will go too far. If you wanted to get rid of an annual subscription and it ends in May, if you're not looking at that and it's not targeted for you to say, alert, as of May, you need to end this, or it's just going to automatically subscribe you, you can reach out in June and they'll say, oh yeah, next May.
Exactly.
Next May. We already took it out of your bank account.
Exactly.
So you have to be really aware of those things that happen, because we sign up for things and then you don't know. I mean, it just keeps perpetuating itself. And sometimes that doesn't get on a budget.
And there's also the mindset thing that we have to consider, because let's be real about this. If I tell you to look through 10 transactions, are you going to look through the 10 transactions? Probably. No. If I tell you to look through 100 transactions because you haven't looked at your expenses in 2 months, are you going to go through those 100? Probably.
Overwhelm. And that's what happens too. Like, I do this segment in December about how to end your year, how to wrap up your year nicely.
Yep.
And there's a big piece of it on the financial aspect, because if you're not looking at it then in the current year, you're going to get busy in January, and then February rolls along, and then, oh my gosh, the accountant's breathing down your neck in March, and you don't know where anything is. You're trying to find your slips of paper and your receipts, and oh my gosh, I didn't get that financial program after all, so now I need to print out all my bank statements, and it can be a mess.
And it's expensive, because if your accountant has to go through everything for you, they're going to charge you by the hour. Yeah. Especially when it's like you could have taken 30 minutes a week, looked at everything, made sure it was in order. And then at the end of the year, like I know QuickBooks Self-Employed, they ask you a series of questions. Yeah. It takes you like 20, 30 minutes, and it gives you this nice little report that you just give to your accountant.
Yeah. And QuickBooks Self-Employed also sends you reminders of, okay, your quarterly taxes are due. Yes. Go into your program and see how much they are. And if you're smart, you've set that aside. So now you're not going, oh my gosh, I owe how much? Oh no, that's nothing. Every week you've been setting something aside in your bank account. So
plus the deductions that many of us miss when it comes to mileage. Yeah. Because if you do vendor booths, if you meet with your clients in person, that sort of thing. And I know this is not like a QuickBooks Self-Employed promo, but their app, if you put the app on your phone and you turn it on, it will automatically track your mileage for you. And then you just say, was this business? Was this personal?
Yes.
Come on.
And there's lots of different programs out there. Okay. And I always hit home to everybody, even if you're not comfortable with getting a program in the beginning, at least have a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Because a spreadsheet is going to help you keep track of it. And then you can move from the spreadsheet to something that works for you. And then eventually you can have a bookkeeper or an accountant who's looking at all that. And you don't even have to, just look at it every quarter, every month. Just make sure things are still okay.
One thing I do like to tell people though is take advantage of YouTube. Like everyone I know knows how to work YouTube. My 4-year-old knows how to work YouTube. And so any piece of technology that you want to be trained on, I promise you, if it's existed for more than like 3 or 4 months, there's a tutorial out there that will walk you step by step through how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yes. YouTube is famous for having videos on just about anything. Just about anything.
I was having trouble with my tablet the other day and I was like, I need help. It's not working. And yeah, YouTube.
It's funny you said that because I just looked something up about my phone this morning. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way to get around this. I'll YouTube it.
And the funny thing is you can actually get tons of financial advice, like how to manage the finances in your business. Forget the fact that my podcast is on YouTube, but there are tons of other people.
That's right. And I mean, so you use keywords, you look it up, and I mean, not everything is gospel on YouTube. Let's make sure we say that. But I mean, there's a lot of good things on there, a lot.
Yes.
So why don't you let us know who your ideal client would be?
So I like to focus on women entrepreneurs who are basically, they have a financial goal in mind. So the thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you achieve a certain financial lifestyle. What is the lifestyle that you want to live? If you are the type of person that this is the future I want, I just don't know how to get there, that's the person who needs to be talking to me. But they also need to be, it's kind of that level of, I'm sick and tired of not being where I want to be. Because when we're talking about money, whether it's money in your business or money in your personal life, it can be very intimate. And you honestly have to be emotionally ready to go through the journey.
Yes. I'm glad you put that in there because you are absolutely right. It is a journey and you do have to be in the right frame of mind for it. Yes. I mean, there's often those things that people talk about, the money blocks people get, and that stems from way back. I mean, you have to dig deep and figure out, oh yeah, that's right. It had something to do when you were a kid and your allowance or the jobs you had, or, it's the emphasis you put on what a dollar actually means to you.
I actually am planning on going back to school to to get some biblical counseling courses under my belt, because I realized I didn't see this at first. I made the mistake, like so many other people, of thinking that it was just about the math. But it's not about the math. When it comes, if the money in your business is chaotic, if the money in your personal life is chaotic, it comes down to something that's going on inside of your heart and in your mind.
Yeah.
It might be something about how you view yourself, something about how you view your family. So if your family has never been successful at generating wealth, in your head, there's a part of you that's telling yourself that you can't do it either. And
Yeah.
you might not even realize that tiny voice it's just been quietly whispering in the background, sabotaging all the things you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But you don't realize.
Now you're a business owner and you're telling yourself, in the back of your mind, that voice is saying, no, you're not worthy. You can't do that. You can't charge that. You can't possibly make that. All those things.
And even past failures. I know.
Oh.
So I sold Mary Kay for a year. Yeah, that was terrible. And I realized it was just because I was not passionate about makeup and skincare. Like, I wore makeup every day when I sold Mary Kay. And then when I stopped, guess who hardly wears makeup again?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, like you said, your heart has to be in it too. It has to be rooted in who you are as a person. Right. I mean, when I decided what I kind of was led to do, I was trying to marry my love for helping other people with being able to make an income.
Yes.
And that can be a struggle in and of itself, is figuring out, okay, well, I want to marry the two of these. What's the best route to take?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I've been thinking about that particular thing a lot lately, because in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in, I've heard women, they want to launch their own business. And the way that our economy is going right now, for most people to be able to either just make ends meet or to have any chance of getting out of, say, the student loan debt crisis, to have any hope of that, you kind of do have to have at least a side hustle going on. Yes. And so I keep seeing these women coming in saying, I want to start a new business. I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, so how do you figure that out? And it's kind of there's three parts to it. One, what are you passionate about? Two, what are you good at? And then in relation to those areas, what are the problems that have not been addressed in those areas?
Right.
If you can find where those three things intersect, that's where you can find a powerful business for yourself that can actually be profitable, because people are only going to buy the solutions to their problems. You got to be good at it. And if you're going to push through all of the foolishness that comes with being an entrepreneur, you got to be passionate about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's probably why Mary Kay wasn't a good business for you. I mean,
it was a serious,
that would be like me trying to sell Mary Kay, and I don't wear makeup, so that wouldn't be good for me. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to put, show someone how to put mascara on, never know, mind what is the best color or right. When you wear certain things. I mean, you have to have some kind of, you have to have the passion, but you also have to have that knowledge and that background in what are you really good at? Those are all questions to ask when you're, definitely starting a brand new business or that side hustle.
Or even just pivoting your business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, kind of when you're going along and like you said, you're looking to maybe pivot in some way. It's going back to that why. It's always going back to your why.
Yes.
So what one piece of advice do you want to pass along to our listeners?
My biggest piece of advice, honestly, is to just not be afraid of the numbers. I know we make finance and math is like big, scary thing. And research has actually shown that like a lot of women will say, I'm not good at math. And for me, like when it comes to the finances in your business, you're actually doing some really basic math most of the time. Addition, subtraction, some division, and some multiplying. You learned that in what, fourth, fifth grade? These are things that you know how to do. It doesn't have to be scary. When it comes to accounting, all it is putting stuff in the right category. If you just think about it that way, like I just need to put this transaction in the right category. And then I can look at the different categories and see what's working, what's not working. So if I have a marketing category and I'm spending a ton of money in my marketing category, but I'm getting more leads from organic growth than I am from this huge marketing budget, then maybe I reduce or even cut my whole marketing budget and save myself a lot of money. Then I can put more of my effort into the organic efforts. But don't be scared, because if you're scared of the numbers and you're not willing to take the time to look at them, to put them in the right categories, and then to see what are these categories trying to tell me, if you're scared of it, then you're not going to do it. And if you don't do it, you don't know when you're making a smart decision for your business. Because if you just decide, I'm going to cut this product out, well, you're doing it, but you're not quite sure if it's the right thing to do. So then you kind of like hold on to a couple of those clients, even though they're driving you crazy.
Yeah.
Or you make like completely the wrong turn. You're out here launching a product that your customers don't want. They've never given you any indication that they wanted, or you launched something like it before and they didn't buy then, but you're not thinking about that because you're not paying attention to the numbers because you're scared of the numbers. Being scared of the numbers hinders your ability to make strategic decisions about your business. So don't be afraid of them. Go learn everything you can about the finances for your business, but understand that it's really just simple. You're putting things in categories, and then you just got to figure out, is this category working for me? And if it's not, how can I fix it?
And when you have questions, never, ever be afraid to ask them.
Oh
I think that's one of the biggest things. They're like, oh, that question might not be, they'll think I'm stupid, or everybody else knows the answer. Chances are they don't, but everybody is afraid to ask that one question that may be ding, 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 the one thing everybody needs to know.
Yes, I really started to understand that concept recently, because so at my church, we have twice a month, the ministers all get together and we're actually reading through the entire Bible. And so I'll sit there and there'll be a passage and I'm like, I don't know what they meant in this passage. I don't understand what they're trying to say. And then part of me is like, I'm not going to say anything because I'm the new kid on the block. So like out of the entire crew, I'm the youngest minister in the crew. I'm the last one to join the team. And I'm like, they're going to look at me like I'm stupid. But then I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to ask the question anyway. And if I look stupid, I look stupid. And then it's like, everyone else is like, yeah, I was wondering that too.
And it's like, well, I'm glad that I could open the doorway for everyone,
So it's one of those things where it's like, don't be embarrassed. And like, if you let your embarrassment stop you from getting the information you need, you're never going to get where you need to go. So if you have to look stupid, go ahead, look stupid.
Especially as a solopreneur.
Yeah.
You're the one person in your business. The buck stops here.
Yes.
So if you are afraid to ask the questions or reach out for the help or whatever it might be, there's nobody else who's going to do that for you. And if you're trying to run something that's successful and sustainable, you have to break out of that mold and not be afraid to do it,
Especially considering that when you look at all the different types of businesses that exist, but then you think about yourself as a solopreneur, you have to be a semi-expert in every single area of your business for it to be successful. However, that might not be your wheelhouse. If finances is like marketing is not my wheelhouse. Okay.
Mine either.
I don't like
the one thing that I'm always like, yeah, no, somebody else can do that.
I'm getting better at it. I've been learning it. I've been studying it, but it is not in my wheelhouse. So there have been times when like my brother-in-law has to like look at me like I'm an idiot because he's really great at it. So you can look at me like I'm an idiot all you want to. I need an answer to this question because I don't know what I'm doing.
I know enough. I tell people I know enough to be dangerous. No, I know like the working piece of it. I know marketing. I know what's supposed to be done. All the inner workings of it, I leave that up to a marketing expert.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm an expert in other things and
Yes.
I can connect you with marketing experts, but you know, I know the basics and that's what I need to know. And the same, you know, rings true for your finances. When people are talking to you, instead of staring with that blank stare that you get and your eyes glaze over like debits, credits, what's happening, they're just all words. Once you learn what they mean and the person will sit with you and go through your financial statements, because you should be looking at your profit and loss, your balance sheet, all those things, you'll understand. Will you fully understand it? Maybe not, but enough so that you know I'm either making a profit or I'm not.
Exactly.
You know?
That's the core of it. Am I making a profit? Am I not making a profit? And if I'm not making a profit, or if I want to grow my profit, what are the things I need to shift and adjust?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we wrap up, why don't you share a little bit about this Dream Builders Bootcamp that's coming up?
Oh, I'm super duper excited about this. I'm trying to get my throat to get its life together. All right. So Dream Builders Business Bootcamp. This is our second year doing it. And this is the bootcamp that I mentioned earlier where I was like, I had the vision over the weekend. I think my husband and I were hanging out with each other in Miami. And we get back and by Monday, like by the end of the day, Monday, I had booked the venue because this bootcamp is all about helping women entrepreneurs, one, get the information that they're not necessarily teaching in business school. All of the things that have helped me be good in my business, I didn't learn with my 4-year accounting degree. Like I've learned these things by talking to people, by going to seminars, by doing it and messing it up. And so this bootcamp is all about helping women entrepreneurs get to a place where they can create a profit, avoiding some of the pitfalls that I've made, and to really just learn the things that not a lot of people want to talk about. So this year, we're really, really deep diving into finance. And that's just because a lot of people are scared about it. One of the questions I got last year was, Tiana, how do I pay myself? And so I'm going to deep dive into that this year. I want to make sure that you're paying yourself. And so that 5 minutes I had to answer that question was not inadequate, was inadequate. So we're going to take a whole bunch of time and talk about that. We're going to build strategic relationships. I'm doing this happy hour with the bootcamp, and I'm excited because the way I'm setting it up is I'm going to pair ladies up together, and you have to figure out why in the world I think you guys are a great fit and why you guys can help each other. I don't want you just walking around passing business cards. I want you to actually find someone who can have great synergy with you to build your business. So I'm insanely excited. It's September 13th and 14th of this year. It's in Arlington, Texas. But if you're not able to come live, I'm going to have a private Facebook group where we're going to live stream the event. So if you can't be here physically, you can always get a virtual pass. So I'm super excited. DreamBuildersBusinessBootcamp.com. It's going to be so fun.
Perfect. I am going to put all the links up so that people can find that and find you on social media. What's your favorite platform? Where can they find you the most other than your podcast?
Oh, yeah. My podcast, Dreamers Financial Playbook, I have so much fun. I have this shirt that I got that says teach everything you know. And that's just how I am. So I'm putting it all out there. In fact, I was really excited because I realized that we've hit a year. So I've had, what was it? I just recorded episode 64.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it had been a year already. Oh my gosh.
I know. When it hit, like literally it hit me the episode before the 1 year mark. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guys.
Yay. That is a huge hurdle. Your first year doing anything is always like, and once you hit that 13th month, whoo.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. But if you want to like really just chit chat and connect with me, Facebook is my favorite platform, probably because I end up like, I feel like I can build deeper relationships on Facebook than I can some of the other platforms.
Yeah. Perfect. Good. Well, thank you so much for, sharing all your expertise with us. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who joined us for another episode of Breaking Through Your Brick Walls. Remember, every day is a good day to be you. You're amazing. Don't forget it. Now go out and rock your business. See you on the next episode.